Welcome, everyone, to the Bernard Alvarez broadcast. This week, I've got a very dear old friend of mine. We've been working together and have been peers in this world of healing and metaphysics for many years. And I'm very happy to have Candace Craw-Goldman joining us today to talk about beyond quantum healing. Now, the last time that Candace was on, she was practicing Dolores Cannon's method. And she's gone on and taken the mantle and has developed something based on this wonderful method of healing and is now sharing that with the world. For those of you that don't know, Candace has been involved in the healing arts since the year 2000. Wow, a long time. She has studied with many healers across the world. Notably, she worked very closely with the late, great Dolores Cannon from 2008 to 2014. She assisted her with her live trainings, her workshops, and she is now the founder of the original quantum healing support forum community and for spiritual and energy practitioners, and also a worldwide directory of quantum healers called quantumhealers.com. So without further ado, I'd like to bring back Candace Craw-Goldman. Welcome, Candace. It's so nice to see you today.
It's so nice to see you too, Bernard. I've been looking forward to this for a really long time.
Me too, me too. And I'm very glad we finally got the date set up and we are here, and I am looking forward to you sharing with us. Where have you been? What have you been doing? And tell us a little bit about this beyond quantum healing technique that you've developed based on the work you've been doing over the last couple of decades.
Sure. I worked with Dolores all those years and was so inspired by her method, and continued to practice her method after her death and support her practitioners. Our support forum on our directory for a time was exclusive to Dolores Cannon practitioners. But after her death, we became independent, and that's why we changed our name to quantumhealers.com, and anybody who works in the field of healing, spirituality, light workers, or way showers are welcome to join us for a directory and then a support forum as well. So I continued to do her work for a while, but I found that things were changing, and they were changing in a really big way, meaning humanity was changing. The kind of clients that were coming, the speed of awakening out there was changing. People were clamoring for a little bit of a different approach because humans have been expanding and evolving so rapidly just in the last few years. I'm sure you've recognized that yourself, haven't you?
Oh, yes, we see that quite a bit.
Yeah, just in the last few years, right? And even though I had some very astute and very psychic people say things to me like, I see you teaching your own class. And I was like, I'm not going to do that, because I watched Dolores do that, and that's hard work. And I love what I'm doing here. But what I found was I started to be quite limited by the scope of what and how she taught her method. And more rules and procedures were then created after she passed. And everyone was sort of feeling, many of us were feeling kind of limited and locked down. And I finally said, you know what, I'm going to start to see how I can, all on my own, create something different. So I started doing that about a year and a half ago. And for 6-9 months or so, I just started practicing with my own clients. And I started doing some things radically different, much different out of the original protocols. And the success was so amazing, so astounding, so mind-blowing. And I've been doing this kind of regression work since 2008. And the things that were available to me now and to us now as healers and as humans have grown so much, expanded so much. I said, it's time. And I created the BQH course actually just about a year ago. Next month, it'll be 1 year.
Oh, wow.
And hundreds and hundreds of people have taken the course, and they in turn have, facilitated tens of thousands of sessions already. And the reports coming back are amazing. Everything coming back is amazing. And I'm so excited. We're getting ready to celebrate our 1-year anniversary of Beyond Quantum Healing. And I'm just thrilled. BQH has really taken off.
That's great. And congratulations on your 1-year anniversary. I can't believe it's been a year already. I remember, geez, messaging you when you were developing it. And I can't believe it's been a year already. Time flies.
It really does.
Speaking of accelerated growth and awakening.
Right.
So Candace, what I'm interested in is for the lay person who's never had a session, let's talk about what a session is like. What, if you were to explain it to someone who's more, I don't know, right brain, linear logical, how does it work? What does the experience feel like, and how does it actually help you to heal?
Right. So BQH basically a consciousness exploration modality. So a facilitator helps the client into a relaxed state and supports them while they have then in that relaxed state an opportunity to create to their higher level aspects, their more divine aspects. BQH does use elements of hypnosis, elements of it, but it's nothing clinical at all. As a matter of fact, it couldn't be further from that word, because BQH practitioners then bring some of the magical into this. And they can bring in things like light language or alchemy or other skills that they have, other courses that they may have taken. So every BQH session is different depending on who the practitioner is, how they interact with the client. It's not cookie cutter at all. There's some BQH sessions, some audios and some snippets. Other things are finding their way onto YouTube. Some people can find those on our YouTube channel and in other places out there. But it's based on the past life regression model, loosely, right? So if you know anything about what a past life regression is, relaxing, kind of going on a guided journey and then having an experience, it's loosely based on that. But it doesn't stop there. It's far more creative, far more flexible.
Very good. And so when you bring past life regression, of course, my mind wanders back to Dolores Cannon and the work that she did. And I'm guessing that's kind of where it was the beginning point, but now you've expanded on that. Sure.
You know, I adore Dolores, and she continues to inspire and inform me. But we went past that in a lot of ways, and that's where the beyond comes in. And the reason we go beyond is because, example, I found myself when a client was struggling, laying there, unable really to communicate with her guides, even though I'm hearing them clearly. I found myself speaking light language and translating the energy from her guides to her and seeing palpable change happen right in front of my eyes. So that's an example. You know, there's just the flexibility, the creativity, the open-endedness is, I don't even know what it is yet, right? It's only been out for a year. And so my own students are coming back and they're telling me different things that are going on. And there are some people now who are doing this method using online communication like Zoom, like we're using, you know, right now to connect. And there now are a subset of people who are using only the telephone. And one of my good friends, my good practitioner friends named Debbie Hazelton, this woman was born blind, and now she can be a practitioner, and she is reporting amazing sessions because she isn't limited by this idea that you need to be in person with somebody and they need to be laying in front of you and you need to be able to see them. So, you know, we're inclusive in that way. We say that there's a lot more ways quantum healing can be done, ways that I don't even personally know about yet, and I'm learning more about every day by watching people like you talk and, you know, bringing up ancient wisdoms and teachings, or other people who are speaking to star family, channeled information. We just don't know. Humans only know like this much, or less, right? So to place limits on practitioners when they're trying to assist another human, it just doesn't make any sense anymore. And it's simply not practical.
And So as someone who is looking for, let's say, to have a session performed on them, are they limited by anything, by their beliefs, their religious beliefs, their imbalance, whether it be health or mental or spiritual? Does anything limit someone from receiving beyond quantum healing?
Hardly anything does. Almost everybody qualifies for a session. You as a client need to have an open mind simply to want it. There may be some people who severely schizophrenic, say, people, or people who have some severe mental issues may not qualify. Those kind of people don't contact practitioners anyway, or not, they don't tend to. So of course we can't say it's for absolutely everyone, but almost anyone. And BQH has been successfully facilitated even on younger people, quite young. The youngest person I've ever had a session with was 12, and it was astonishing. I mean, it was really, really astonishing. I had done a session with her own mother, and she suggested her daughter. So of course the parents have to be involved, but these starseed children, they need support too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I wonder, doing similar work, you and I, our work is very parallel as far as like healing work and whatnot. Mine stems from Reiki, but of course I throw in shamanistic approaches as well as starseed and channeled and regression type stuff as well. And one of the things that many people ask me is what happens if I start remembering something traumatic? Because I like to do shamanic soul retrieval, and a lot of times they will find themselves in a very disturbing and or how should we say, a challenging memory comes to the surface that they weren't prepared for. How can they feel confident in knowing that either they can be pulled out of it or pulled through it safely without long-term trauma, for lack of a better term?
Sure. Well, practitioners and I talk about this all the time, of course, on our support forum. That's what we're there for, the back and forth of this all the time. And what we have found is if your consciousness is bringing forth a memory or an event for you to examine, there's a really good reason for it. You need to look at it. And there are many ways you can safely look at it. One of the standard classic ways of doing that is with the help of a kind and patient facilitator, you can help to see these situations as an observer. So sort of like on a movie screen. And then you don't have to feel like you're right in it and you are observing it. And of course, that's where the communication with the practitioner comes in a real way. You need to have great trust in the person that you're doing the session with, and also in the method. And once you have that trust and you really feel cared for, you're going to be just fine. I wouldn't worry about it. And if there's something that's traumatic and it needs to be looked at, it very well may come up. And that's something to talk to your practitioner about before you ever get started.
That's good to know. So what about practitioners? What does it take to become a practitioner? Is there a certain background that you need? Are there prerequisites? How can someone become a beyond quantum healing practitioner?
From the beginning of doing this kind of quantum healing work, I've had a special place in my heart for the beginner. I remember myself starting this work. I knew nothing. I was an artist. I was a mom. I rode horses. I didn't know anything about this kind of work. I did have Reiki, and I had Reiki, but as a mom and a person who had animals. That was my Reiki, use and experience. But we love beginners because many courses out there don't even start by talking about some of the fundamentals about consciousness, fundamentals about energy, and how you should think about your own energy, your client's energy, the energetic aspects, and the energetic connection you have with your client is huge. It's not just about steps and procedures and words and very left brain kind of stuff. There's a lot more going on. So we really take care of beginners in that way. We make special effort to talk about the very basic steps that you need to know in interacting with clients. So absolutely no prerequisites.
Well, that's good to know. I think a lot of people, I sense a lot of people want to begin a journey of healing and healing others, whether it be, just for friends and family or themselves, or to bring in an alternative healing practice that they could use as a vocation and a way of making a living. So I feel it's important for us to be able to offer these things to people and let them know where they can find it and how they can do it. How long is the process for becoming a Beyond Quantum Healing practitioner with your new course?
Yeah, well, it's completely self-paced. So the entire course is online, and it's a self-study, but there is absolutely interaction potential live with webinars and other support systems. But the entire course is pre-recorded online, and you take it as you are able to fit it into your life. Some people have been known to, really slam it in a few days. I wouldn't recommend that. Most people take, 10 days, 2 weeks to get through the material. And then we offer support, again, through our support forum for beginners. But we encourage even experienced practitioners to consider taking the Beyond Quantum Healing course, because we found that even some of the most experienced hypnotherapists and other kinds of therapists, some of the nicest emails I've gotten have been from like psychotherapists and others who have found a newfound freedom and flexibility in dealing with their clients that they really hadn't thought of before. And even if you aren't interested in becoming a practitioner, some of the core concepts really useful in your own life and, for your family members and friends maybe.
Right on. And so what are some of the topics? What are some of the topics in the classes? Give us a sample of like what the syllabus is like.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it has to do with this idea of energy and everything being energy. So one of the things that I talk about is, you really have to watch what you're doing in your daily life. Example, if you spend much of your time watching a television where there's a lot of drama and conflict, or if you go visit let's say bars, or you have friends or neighbors that you spend a lot of time in their home where there's a lot of conflict, you're sitting in that energetic soup. And if you then wonder why maybe you have conflict or other things going on in your life, that's an energy thing that's happening. And we go through some of these fundamentals and how it's not all here, right? You can't figure everything out with your intellect. Somehow society has been set up that way, that all you have to do is follow steps and figure things out with your head. But there's a lot more that has to do with things like energy and things like intention. The course is focused also on intention and the wisdom of the heart. Your heart informs your life, and it informs your brain more than your brain informs your heart. This is where our wisdom is. And so there's a lot of very core concepts like that we talk about before we ever even get started about how you deal with a client. It's mostly even, how you think about your own world and healing in your own life first.
Yeah. And I can't help but wonder, I know for me, when I start a session, whatever type of session I'm doing, whether it be a tarot or regression or a shamanic healing session, that I like to do some sort of practice to ground myself or anything like that. Do you help practitioners with that, to help them get into the space, connect with their higher self, and
absolutely.
able to channel that energy?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we have a portion of the course teaches a water alchemy portion that actually infuses the intention of the session along with the client's body and energetic system and the practitioners. So everybody's all on the same page. So there absolutely is a nice preparation and kind of a ceremony that we suggest before ever even getting started having a session. But again, this, like the entire course, like the entire process of BQH, says, if that works for you, if this sounds good for you, some people might think that might be too woo-woo. They may want to just jump right in and start a little bit later. But yes, we absolutely think about all of that. And being calm and connected and quiet before starting a session is usually very helpful, of course.
I'm sure. And as well as someone who's receiving it.
Oh, yes.
You know, you want them to be in a calm place, especially perhaps if we're doing like an online or via Zoom or via phone. I'm so glad you mentioned that. I do most of my sessions via phone because I find it very distracting to watch someone on video. And sometimes I will have a client say to me, "Oh, is it all right if I'm on camera so you can see me?" I'm like, well, I kind of find that distracting, and I prefer not being concerned about what you look like and what I look like, and I prefer just to do the energetics of it, even though I'll do it on Skype or on Zoom, but it'll only be audio. So again, everybody has their own different way of doing it, which is what you're promoting.
Yeah, well, it sounds like, a lot of the elements that you use in your work, see, that's kind of how and why this ever even got created. This is the way some of the best healers out there were working anyway, right? They were doing this anyway. They were taking this course, learning about this, reading about that teacher, et cetera, et cetera. And what I've started doing is just seeing that these skills, that these gifts were being brought into sessions, and some of the very best healers with some of the very best outcomes felt free to access all of those things. And so that's what we focus on too, is, focus on those things. And you may say, well, heck, I'm a rank beginner. I don't know anything. And we say, that's okay. You got to start somewhere. And we help you out in that way too, and provide kind of an outline or a foundation for you to then, encourage you to keep on learning out there, because I'm not done learning. I don't know about you, but I'm not done learning. Are you still learning, Bernard?
Absolutely. I better not ever stop learning. So I'm wondering, Candace, when I'm teaching a healing course, whether it be Reiki or shamanic healing techniques or whatnot, I don't want to say I warn the practitioner, but I do. I warn the practitioner that as you start developing these skills, your body's going to change, your mind's going to change, your heart's going to change. I know when I do a Reiki 1 attunement, many of the people burst out in tears several hours later, or they go through their 2nd degree attunement. Their whole life goes into an upheaval, and they got to put it all back together in a whole new way to kind of align with this new energy that's coming through. Is there something that you want to tell your prospective healers to keep an eye out for? Symptoms of internal evolution, for lack of a better term.
Sure, and we've heard it all over the years. We've just heard it all. Probably the thing I was thinking about as you were asking me that question was how important our support forum is. Because there have been people on there who've been with me and with us for 11 years. It's a very cohesive, very amazing place. And it's always there for you to talk to whoever's online then, or, we get to, there's a lot of support there. But expansion isn't always comfortable. and yes, people sometimes say they want to start being psychic. How do I open my 3rd eye? I want to see visions. And then they see a vision, and sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, but not that one. Right? And so, we're there to talk about that. But you can modify some of these things, and you can take it slowly. Sometimes you get surprised, but we talk about these issues backwards, forwards, up and down. And there's a lot of help. You don't have to go at this alone. We're there.
That's important. And I think that's a big issue with many people. They don't feel the support as they're transitioning into this greater awareness and all that comes along with it. With that being said, tell us about the course. Where can they find the course? How much is the course? If you want to share that, can they do it in payments? How do people sign up?
Sure. Well, our directory is at quantumhealers.com. And again, that's for anybody who's doing any of this kind of work. You're welcome to join us. It's a database of healers with the adjoining support forum for any of those healers who want to join us. So you can find BQH at that website, quantumhealers.com. There's a banner, there's a tab, BQH. You can find it very easily, quantumhealers.com/BQH, or just go there. You'll find us.
Okay, good. So all the information is there. It's like how to join the course and pre-rec and payments and all that stuff.
All that stuff. Yep. But we want to give your listeners a special deal today, don't we?
Oh, yes, that's right. Thank you very much, Candace. So listeners, we have a wonderful deal for you today. So check out what Candace has to say.
Yeah, so the course is currently $333, which is considerably less than other similar courses offered out there. But we're going to give for the rest of this month and the entire month of July to celebrate, we're going to give Bernard's listeners a coupon code that you can use for 10% off. And that coupon is Bernard, all in capital letters with the number 10. And if you put that in at checkout, you'll save $33. And thanks so much for allowing us to gift your listeners with this special coupon.
Oh, well, thank you, Candace. I think it's an honor to be a part of this and for you to honor our viewers and our listeners with that. It's very, very generous and very kind of you. So thank you for that.
Yeah, well,
and so what's next? Will you be doing any online webinars during this? Can people see you anytime soon?
Well, you know, this actually gives me an opportunity to tell you it's a secret, actually, just coming out. Just put the banner up on our website today to celebrate 1 year of BQH being out. We're behind the scenes creating a free gift for you, and that means anybody and everybody, people who might be interested in being a client of quantum healing, or somebody even who might be interested in becoming a practitioner of quantum healing. And what I'm going to do is, and I'm doing it right now, I'm putting together a free little mini course on how to prepare for a quantum healing session that you can go through to sort of, you know, check the boxes, and it may answer a lot of questions that you might have. And it's for practitioners and clients alike. And I'm creating it not with just BQH in mind. So example, let's say you practice past life regression of another sort, or something, you know, in that family, in that realm. This free course is available for you to look at, even for you to, hey, check out this course. You know, this is a great way to get ready for any kind of past life regression, any kind of quantum healing. And I thought it would be a lot of fun to just set that out to the world, and that's going to happen and be released sometime in the month of July.
Oh, wonderful. That's great. We could all use a little extra support, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Excited about it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us today, Candace. It's always such a pleasure, and I look forward to working with you again. And reminder to all of our viewers and listeners, if you go to, what is it, quantumhealers.com?
Healers.com. Mm-hmm.
And decide to sign up for the course, you get 10% off with the code Bernard10, all capitals. Very good. Wonderful. Well, thanks again, Candace. I look forward to seeing you soon. And to everybody else, I will see you all next week. I have a very interesting guest that I will be sharing more about on my social media channels then. We love you very much. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.